Hey everyone, this is Paul, and you are listening to season 2, episode 7 of the Generation Latino podcast. Thank you, thank you for tuning in. It truly means a lot to me. I've been so inspired lately by a lot of people. So this episode is called Speaking Your Truth, and we all have our own truths. And we all have our own ideas of what we want to do and what we consider successful and what we consider great. But I have been really inspired by three things, to be quite honest. So the first one was I've been watching the morning show a lot lately. I hadn't really seen it, but I recently bought a new TV. And with the purchase of my new TV came a 2-month subscription to Apple TV. So I was like, okay, like let me check this out. Let me see what it's about. So I downloaded the app. It was free, so I did it and I started watching the morning show. And guys, if you have not seen the morning show, my God, I don't really binge watch. Like I'm not a binge watcher. I'm not like the last show I binge watched was Game of Thrones. But ever since Game of Thrones, I have not really seen a show that really fascinated me. So, but the morning show, Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, my God, if you have not seen it, you need to watch it. Again, I was so inspired. It talks about telling your truth, telling your story, and that's why we're here today because I'm going to tell a story and it's going to be a true story. And yeah, but two other things that inspired me. Jimmy Kimmel this week came back on air and holy cow. I mean, how inspiring is he to be speaking his truth, to be, I'm not going to say the person's name, but to be like standing up to his bully. If anyone's out there and you've been bullied, God, when you get to tell them how you really feel and how they made you feel, it's so empowering. Watching him come back from his suspension was really nice to watch. So I was like cheering for him. I was watching him on TV and I was like, you fucking go, dude. He is such an inspiration to so many people. And for him to continue to say what he meant and mean what he said, I mean, chef's kiss. I love him for that. So the last thing that inspired me to tell you my truth was I really want to talk about this person. This person has been probably my inspiration for the past year, Kamala Harris. I just finished her book. And when I tell you her book, it's called 107 Days. I mean, I listened to it in 2 days. So inspiring, so uplifting. But hearing her speak and hearing her be her authentic, unapologetic self, God, she is a badass woman. And Jesus, I don't know what else to say, but all those three things inspired me to have this episode and to be on camera and to speak my truth because again, I think it's important for everyone to speak their truth. And if you do not speak your truth, you have nothing to speak for. Anyways, this episode, Speak Your Truth, I recently had applied for a position. I wasn't really interested in the position. I mean, not that I wasn't interested in it, but it was something that wasn't kind of on my radar. But one of my really good friends, she was like, hey, this organization, well, I'm just going to say it. The organization is the USTA, which is the United States Tennis Association. They were hiring for a DEI manager. And if you don't know what DEI is, it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. So I thought to myself, you know what? Because I've partnered with the USTA, but I never really worked for them. And if I'm being quite honest, like with the exception of a couple of people there, I really didn't have a good experience with them. I'll go back to that experience in a little bit, but it wasn't the best experience that I had with them. But I didn't want that to like tarnish my love for the game or my love for like growing the game or anything like that. So flash forward, my friend was telling me about this position. So I was like, I don't know. I have a job already, but why not? So the first round was just submitting a resume. What is it? Resume, cover letter, and 3 references, right? So I sent all that in and then and I was very specific in my cover letter because I'm a very progressive individual. I'm someone who really likes to like bend the mold and, be innovative and things like that. So I had told them if you're looking to progress DEI If you're looking to really, really enhance that and move it forward, I'm your guy. But if you're looking to just check a box and say, hey, this is the DEI hire, I'm not your guy. Well, anyways, I sent that in and I hadn't really heard from anybody from like the USTA. It was about maybe like 2 weeks. And then I had heard back like, hey, Paul, we got your resume, your cover letter, and we would love to get you into a first round, preliminary round of interviews. And I was like, oh shit, cool, whatever. So didn't think anything because again, I didn't have the best experience with them, but I still wanted to just see what it is, right? DEI, come on, that's exactly what I am. Not that I'm like a DEI hire, but I'm Latino, I'm queer, I'm educated. What more does a company need? Anyways, so I do the preliminary round and it's maybe about a 30-minute interview. Very basic questions. It was more like getting to know me as an individual, like my background in tennis, my background in nonprofit, and I did it. And I was like, oh, okay, like if they like me, we'll see what happens. So they later on that night, it's like 7:45. I get an email and they're like, "Hey Paul, we were impressed with your interview. Can you come back for a second interview with five other people?" So I was like, "Okay, cool." So then that interview was going to be longer, so I took it on my lunch break. And so I'm over here like, are they going to like me? Like who are they going to be? Guys. So I take my lunch break. I rush from where I'm my office, and then I go all the way home. Well, not all the way home. It's not too far, but I go home and I kind of set up for my interview. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little like anxious, but it's like a good nervousness, like a good anxious type of thing. So I get in the interview and fun fact, I was listening to Simply the Best by Tina Turner because I really like that song. Just trying to like hype yourself up. I don't know about you, but for me, whenever I'm nervous or anxious, again, I used to do theater, so I would always listen to like Nicki Minaj or Cardi B or Rihanna to like hype me up. So, guys, I can't make this shit up. In the interview, there's five other people in this interview. Five. Tell me why I'm the only minority there. Every single person on this interview is fucking white. White, not like looks white. Like I know some people think that I'm white. I'm not. I'm Latino. I mean, full on white. And I'm thinking to myself, this is odd. At least throw in the token black guy or the token Latina or something, right? So this is where it gets a little interesting to me. This is where our story kicks off. Mind you, I'm the only minority there, right? It's the one Mexican American queer man and five other white people. And it's a virtual interview. And tell me why that these people, they're fucking asking me about like, well, what are your thoughts on DEI? What do you think about DEI? How would you explain DEI? Bitch, I'm fucking Mexican. My grandmother is a fucking immigrant. Came here illegally. Now she's gone, but I mean, what more do you need to fucking know? I'm first generation, college educated. I am a fucking Latino. I'm queer. Like, what else? Like, so mind you, and I'm being very PC about this because at this fucking point, there is this one bitch in the interview, and I'm not going to say her name out of respect. She's like kind of going hard on me. And she's like, so tell me this. What do you find challenging in what do you find challenging in DEI? Like, what's going to be your biggest challenge? I'm like, well, I'm being very Miss America. I was like, well, we live in 2025 and the administration right now is a little iffy. So like that alone is going to be a problem if you ask me. So I answered like that basically. And again, guys, like, note to anyone who's going to be fucking interviewing candidates for a DEI position, make sure you have some fucking flavor in the fucking panel of interviewers. Like, make sure that there's people who are of color, who are minorities, who are some spice, please, because five people interviewing the one Mexican is not DEI. Like that alone I was like, whatever. So after that interview, I thought like for sure they're not going to call me back. Like they're not going to call me. Like this is where it ends. It was good, but this is where the journey ends for me because I thought there was no freaking way that they're going to call me back after like how I interviewed. And not that I interviewed bad. I felt like there was one particular person in the interview who was trying to trick me or like trap me into like, you know, those people who are just like, well, like, tell me, like, what is like DEI for you? Like, what does it mean to be diverse? I'm like, bitch, you're fucking as white as a fucking marshmallow, and you're asking me about that? Like, hello. Anyways, I was very PC about it, right? PC. So after the interview, I had to go back to work. So then all of that happens, and I'm like, okay, like they're definitely not going to call me back. Like I was just like too much for them, is what I felt like, right? But I know my shit. Well, I kid you not, later on that day, it's a 5 p.m. and I get an email and they're like, Paul, we were very impressed with your interview. We would love for you to come into our third and final interview in person, which would be in Austin. So I was like, sure, I would do that. And then the thing was that they were like, oh, you're going to be coming and meeting with our leadership team and our executive director. Okay, guys, this is where things kind of start getting together. Remember I told you how like I didn't have the best experience with the USTA? Well, this is where the story gets, where the plot thickens, if you will. A couple years back, I worked for an association that at the time didn't have the best leadership, right? So you have the USTA, which is like the United States Tennis Association, and then you have the like local CTA, right? Which is like the Community Tennis Association. So I worked for a Community Tennis Association, and at the time, we had a very bad leader. I won't say their name, but we had a very bad leader, and they were tyrants. Like they were really crumbling the organization, and it was bad. Like it was hostile. It was really bad. So I had reached out to the USTA, and the executive director, who was still there to this day. I had reached out just as like a concern. Hey, just so you know, we're really in need of your help. Our organization needs your guidance and your leadership. I say that in quotes because I don't consider that person a leader. Well, I got nothing back. Like they all fucking ignored me. All of them ignored me. And I reached out to about 3 people. They all ignored me. No one fucking wrote to me during that time. And I thought, wow, like this is interesting. Like we're under their umbrella and I come to them with an issue or a concern and they don't get back to me. Whatever, not a big deal. But thank God the CTA now is under great leadership. It's truly where it needs to be. So nothing wrong now with the CTA. Back to the USTA. So they had told me that I was going to have to meet in person the executive director of the USTA. And I thought to myself, fuck, this is the same person that I wrote to a couple years ago about the issues that I was having. And he fucking ignored them. Like how he ignored them. How am I going to pretend that that didn't happen? But I was already in the process of like the application process. It was the final interview. And I thought, well, maybe they want to change. Like maybe they want to do something different, right? Maybe they're turning a new leaf, if you will. Well, talk about leaves. One of my really good friends lives in Austin. So I was like, hey, can I stay the night with you? I'm just going to be there for a couple hours. Like I just got to go to the interview and then go back to work. Again, I'm still working. I'm not just like waiting for them to call me. So the night before, I'm talking to one of my friends on the phone and I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel the best about this final interview. I'm not his pick. It's a guy, by the way. It's a gentleman. I was like, I'm not his pick. Like I'm not going to be the guy that he wants. Like, first of all, he ignored me years ago. He doesn't give a shit about any other CTA's problems. He ignored my email, and now I got to like sit in front of him and pretend like nothing's happened. So I was really close to not wanting to go to this final interview because I knew the outcome. I knew I was just too much for them. I was too much. But I was like, Paul, you already said yes. You said yes to the calendar invite. Just go. Just go. Put your pride aside, put your ego aside, and just go. Just go. Okay. So I wake up really early, I go to the gym, and I'm driving to the interview, right? It's a nice office in Austin. It was okay. Not like nice, but it was decent. So I go to the interview, and the two ladies that were in the process the entire time were phenomenal. They were very sweet. They were very kind. They were very respectful. Very, very sweet. Well, it's those two ladies and the executive director. And two ladies, very professional. They have their computers out with the list of questionnaires. The gentleman is sitting back on his phone, letting me know that his questions are on his phone. I thought, it's not the most professional, but sure. What can I expect from a 60-year-old man? Right? I can't expect much from a boomer. So they're asking questions, and they're asking me like really decent questions, not gonna lie. The girls, again, phenomenal. So they're asking me about DEI and what does it mean to me? And, I told him, I was like, it means everything to me. I said, I am so passionate about nonprofit that I got a master's in it. And I, to this day, work in nonprofit. I said, but if you want to grow the game of tennis, you really got to go into these inner city schools, and you really got to go into these communities that don't have the access to the sport. I said, the goal, yes, you want to grow like your leagues and your tournaments, but you want to get the player who's never had access to the sport. And I said, so that's the one way that you're going to grow the game. He looks at me and he goes, you really think that's the problem? I said, I know that's the problem. Like, I'm in it right now. Like, I'm in the neighborhoods. I am working with underserved kiddos. I said, that's how you grow the game. You don't grow the game by adding another tournament. You don't grow the game by adding another leagues event. Like, you grow the game by introducing the sport to people who've never had it, whether it's youth or adults. I mean, adaptive. And he's like, well, okay. And at that moment, I realized that I was not this guy's pick. I'm like, you wasted my fucking time. Like, you wasted my time, you wasted my talent, and you wasted my fucking energy. That's what you fucking did. So I told him too, because I know that I met this guy in person before. I was like, hey, like, we met before. He's like, oh, we have? I'm like, yes, but again, whatever. So at that moment, so one more thing. The two girls were going kind of back and forth through the interviews, and then it got silent. And then one of the girls told the gentleman, like, hey, it's your question. Like, it's your turn. He's like, oh, my bad. And I'm just like, this is towards like 75% of, like, towards the latter part of the interview, like maybe 75% in, I told myself, no, this is done. This is not going to happen for me. I am not their DEI choice. I am not their pick. I'm just not. Again, in the second round, I had 5 white people interview me. I mean, come on, Paul. So at that point, I already kind of knew that that was going to be the outcome. So about a week had gone by. And then I get a phone call from one of the ladies, and she was like, hey, Paul, how's it going? I'm like, good, just, working. And she was like, hey, I have some bad news for you. We offered the position to someone else. And I was like, okay, that's cool. No problem. I said, can I ask you something though? I said, was I too much? And she's like, no, that wasn't the case. She's like, we kept telling ourselves, like, we need more people like Paul. We need someone like Paul. Well, first of all, if you need someone like a Paul or another Mexican or another Black person or another person of color, you hire them. Instead of saying we need another Latin person or another good person, you hire them. That's what you do. Anyways, I was just kind of like, okay, cool. Like, no problem. Well, This past weekend, they had a summit. The USTA had a summit, and it turns out that they did hire a DEI person. Who do they hire? A white woman who plays leagues. As Meryl Streep says in The Devil Wears Prada, groundbreaking. You know, if you're going to fucking hire someone for a DEI position, make sure you have diversity within the interviewing committee. Make sure that you have people who have actually been through shit, who have actually struggled, and have them interviewing. But to have fucking 5 white people interview me about DEI is a joke. It's a fucking joke. So, of course, in the second round interview, when you have 5 white people, and I'm going to keep saying white people, when you have 5 white people interviewing for DEI, what do you think is going to happen? They're going to hire the 50-plus-year-old white woman. And no offense to the white woman, I'm sure she's had some fucking share of her, whatever. I don't fucking know. And I wish her the best. But all I can say is, this is the problem in our country. This is the issue that we have. People say that us minorities are just being dramatic, that we're just like, we're never happy. Well, shame on the USTA for allowing this to happen. Shame on the leadership that allows this to happen. But again, if you're going to have a DEI position open, let's remember what DEI stands for: diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you're going to hire for that, at least pretend to care and put minorities in the interviewing panel. At least pretend. But don't be so blatant that you don't give a fuck about who's on that interviewing panel. Is it disappointing? Absolutely it is. But again, it is what it is. But it's just sad that that's the world that we live in, right? Like, it's sad. So anyways, that happened, and I wanted to talk about it today because I think a lot of us minorities really have this happen to us a lot. This happens a lot. You wonder how people get in their positions. You wonder how people are able to get ahead. Well, that's a perfect example, right? Like, I would have loved to have seen her credentials. I was talking to my niece and I was telling her about it. And again, I'm not saying hire me because I'm Latino. I'm not saying hire me because I'm gay. I'm not saying hire me because I have a fucking master's degree. When I was in my interview, I had told them, I said that we have enough league players. We really need to grow the game and get into the inner city areas. So if anyone is listening from the USTA, I hope you do better. I hope you diversify your people on your leadership team, because when I counted, out of the 25 people, there was only 5 people who were Latino, Black, and even that's pushing it. You should do better. I'm not saying this because I'm bitter. I have a job. I have a career. I don't need to be in a position where I'm not wanted. But not just that, if you're going to hire for a DEI position, do your due diligence and fucking making sure that your group of people are diverse. But anyways, I was so inspired by Jimmy Kimmel, Kamala Harris, and The Morning Show to really speak my truth. And my fellow Latinos out there, I'm talking to you. Keep being you. I say this all the time, but keep being you. All of those who are listening who have been in a similar position like I just mentioned, keep fighting. Keep being you. Be unapologetically you. I'm telling you, it's a joke, but this is the shit that we have to go through as minorities. Do better. I want to thank you for tuning in. Again, the setup isn't the best. My mic, I had to like move it to a decent area, but thank you again for tuning in. It means a great deal. And remember, these stories are meant to keep us moving forward. They're not meant to break us down. So I will see you on the next episode.